Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Good evening. It's Friday, January 22nd. Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi, and we begin with some breaking news. And it is not good. Unfortunately, 79 more San Diegans have died of the coronavirus. That's a new single-day record. More on the numbers just ahead. Here in San Diego and in Washington, moves are also being made to ease the pandemic's economic toll. The White House says the orders President Biden signed today are not a substitute for the nearly $2 trillion relief package they've proposed, but a lifeline for now. Karen Kafa has the latest.
We have to act. We have to act now.
President Biden zeroing in on COVID-19's devastating economic impact with two more executive orders.
We will not let people go hungry.
The first asks federal agencies to take steps to aid struggling Americans. Among them, calling on the Department of Agriculture to boost food assistance benefits and Treasury to update its process for distributing stimulus checks so eligible Americans don't miss out on payments. The second order starts the process of raising the minimum wage to $15 for the federal workforce.
Our economy is at a very precarious moment. We are 10 million jobs short still of where the economy was when this pandemic started.
Facing daunting numbers, Biden wants to provide some fast relief with the executive directives. The Labor Department says about 900,000 Americans filed for unemployment for the first time last week.
The economy is struggling, and those households are obviously still being devastated by the financial impact of the pandemic.
The Biden White House has proposed a $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief package that Congress will need time to pass. Some Republicans have already balked at the price tag. In Washington, Karen Kafa, KPBS News.
February rent is due in just over a week, and many San Diegans will not be able to pay because of the pandemic. But help is on the way. KPBS reporter John Carroll details plans by San Diego's new mayor to keep people in their homes.
It is one of the most heartbreaking effects of the pandemic, the loss of jobs, the income that goes with them, and the subsequent specter of losing one's home.
There are thousands of folks who are vulnerable for eviction and therefore homelessness.
Mayor Todd Gloria says the city is working as quickly as it can to distribute more than $42 million in federal money, San Diego's portion of housing aid approved by Congress in December. Still, people have to apply for the money, and that process is still being worked out. Renters are currently prevented from being evicted under state legislation, but time is running out because that provision sunsets at the end of this month. So Gloria says he'll bring an eviction moratorium proposal before the city council on Tuesday.
Where we can either, through a moratorium, stop legal proceedings, and then through grant programs, make those tenants and the mortgage holders whole. We know that we're keeping people housed, keeping them out of homelessness, and ultimately saving money in the long run.
For residential tenants, the moratorium would last until 60 days after the city's pandemic emergency declaration is lifted. Businesses would be protected from eviction through June 30th, or 60 days after the emergency declaration is lifted, whichever comes first. Gloria says he's working with the state to try and get even more emergency financial relief, and he says he's willing to pressure banks the city does business with to help as well.
The city, even in our dire financial circumstances, will still spend billions of dollars this year. And I have no trouble using our leverage to try and accrue to the benefit of San Diegans who are hurting.
Both residents and businesses will have to pay back any unpaid rent. Gloria is urging tenants and landlords to work together on that. But for now, he's focused on the immediate concern, keeping people in their homes, allowing them to hold on to their businesses as this once-in-a-century pandemic grinds on. John Carroll, KPBS News.
A sign that help is badly needed. Unemployment in San Diego County is up again. According to State Employment Development Department figures released today, the rate rose to 8% in December. That's up from 6.6% from the previous month. The push to expand COVID-19 vaccination sites is continuing this weekend as the county reports that record death toll. We mentioned 79 deaths and more than 2,800 cases were reported today, and once again highlighting the need to speed up the vaccination process. KPBS reporter Matt Hoffman says the newest location is in an area that's been hit hard by the virus.
We had a soft opening yesterday. Well, we had over 200 people in line. It was not even advertised.
A new South Bay vaccination site is officially being unveiled this Sunday.
This weekend, we're very excited also to be creating a partnership with the City of National City.
This vaccination pod is at the Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center off 12th Street.
For right now, we understand that the our pod will have about 500 vaccines daily.
National City Mayor Alejandra Sotelo Solis says this location is convenient because it's close to transit and used to be a polling place. But with a slower than hoped for rollout of vaccines, she's asking residents to be patient.
And yes, it's going to take time. You have to go through the online portal, and you may not get in line, so to speak, virtually for a little while. But we also, too, can't supersede what the state and county is mandating.
To get an appointment at a county vaccination site, you have to be 75 or over, a healthcare worker or first responder. Even with some supply questions, the county is continuing to expand its vaccination program, hoping to stick to its goal to have 70% of San Diegans over 16 vaccinated by the end of June.
As we're making decisions to allocate county resources, we're really being guided by through what they call an equity lens. You guys ready? Yeah.
National City is also working on a program similar to CAL FIRE San Diego's, where first responders are delivering vaccines.
8 of our firefighters have been certified to have a mobile unit. We're working on the details. What that means is our firefighters in our mobile unit will be able to go to the long-term care facilities that may not have received the shots as of yet and vaccinate everybody in that space.
Sotelo Solis would like to eventually see 2 or 3 vaccination sites in each community. Matt Hoffman, KPBS News.
With vaccine distribution delayed and case rates still high, KPBS education reporter Joe Hong says teachers are skeptical that students will be able to return to campuses before the end of the school year.
So far, school nurses and speech therapists across the county have already started receiving their vaccines, but it's still unclear when teachers will begin to get their shots. And while Los Angeles Unified School District Superintendent Austin Buettner urged county and state officials to turn schools into vaccination sites focused on educators, no such calls have been made in San Diego County.
The district is waiting for guidance from Health and Human Services.
Susan Scala is the president of the Teachers Union at Chula Vista Elementary School District.
Well, according to our agreement with the district, we have to be in the red tier. We have to be in the red tier for 14 consecutive days. And then the board has to authorize a physical return. So I'm not really confident that's going to happen soon.
At San Diego Unified, district officials emphasized the need for regular testing and lower case rates in the community in addition to vaccinated teachers. Scala said she's skeptical the district will reopen schools before the end of the school year.
I would love to say yes, but I don't think so. And that, it makes me sad to think that kids aren't going to be able to come back.
In Chula Vista Elementary, the community zip codes have some of the highest case rates in the county, and district officials say vaccinating teachers isn't enough to reopen campuses. Anthony Milliken is the communications director for Chula Vista Elementary School District.
Our reopening plan is not tied to vaccination. Our reopening plan is tied to the county moving from purple to the red tier.
Milliken said the district is in active communication with the county to see how district staff can contribute to vaccine distribution. Joe Hong, KPBS News.
Some good news out of UC San Diego. COVID-19 positive test rates among students and staff have fallen to less than 1%. That's far below the county average of 12%. The university says there was a spike at the start of the winter quarter with 94 students testing positive. Now they're seeing about 2 to 5 cases per day. Students must get tested every week. UC San Diego installed vending machines dispensing coronavirus tests across the campus. At least 15 inmates at Donovan Prison in Otay Mesa died from COVID-19 just in the past month. KPBS's Katie Stiegel says the prison has one of the highest death rates in the state.
The guards were turning their back on them. They were not helping them.
Maria Casillas' husband is an inmate at Donovan Prison in Otay Mesa.
If one of them was too sick to get up and eat, another guy would come and help this fellow eat. If somebody needs to go to the restroom and they couldn't get up, another fellow would come and help them to go to the restroom.
She's also co-founder of the criminal justice nonprofit Pride in Truth. She says inmates with COVID-19 are sequestered in a gymnasium and that they have to rely on one another for basic help because medical care and proper treatment has become increasingly hard to access. Donovan has the 4th highest COVID-19 death rate among prisons statewide. Officials from the state corrections department refused an interview request, but said in an emailed statement to KPBS that quick action by prison officials prevented an even larger outbreak. The spike in deaths can be traced back to a December outbreak that peaked with 712 active cases on December 21st. The spokeswoman says the outbreak is now largely under control. But State Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez says her office has reports from family members who allege the prison isn't being as safe as possible. She said in a statement to KPBS, quote, "We have heard of a lack of basic PPE like hand sanitizer and that inmates fear retaliation, including solitary confinement, for speaking out about these safety issues." Casillas, whose husband is in Donovan, says she believes prison staff members and inmates should be vaccinated and properly cared for.
At the end of the day, I still have to bring my loved one home, my friend home. An individual has to come out, and we still have to bury them.
For KPBS, I'm Katie Stiegel.
An update in the legal battle over reopening restaurants. Today, an appeals court overturned a San Diego Superior Court judge's ruling that barred the state and county from enforcing coronavirus restrictions on restaurants. A 3-justice panel found the injunction, which stemmed from a lawsuit brought by 2 strip clubs, was overbroad, not supported by the law, and unreasonably vague. County Board of Supervisors Chair Nathan Fletcher praised the decision, saying now that the issue has been put to rest, the county can move forward with lowering the case count and administering vaccines. San Diego is facing deep budget cuts as the economy still languishes under the pandemic. But KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen says Washington could come to the rescue.
San Diego city officials are looking at a deficit in excess of $150 million for the coming fiscal year. Jeff Kawar of the city's Independent Budget Analyst's Office says money for local governments in President Biden's nearly $2 trillion pandemic aid proposal is promising, but many questions remain.
Just to keep it simple, how much will we be receiving in the city of San Diego? What are the restrictions on how those monies can be spent? And what's the time frame within which that money must be spent?
Mayor Todd Gloria is still preparing for the worst if no more federal aid comes through, asking all city departments to come up with budget cuts. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
Baseball legend Hank Aaron has died at the age of 86. Aaron's career not only broke records but also shattered racial barriers as he fought an uphill battle against racism in sports and society as a whole. Mike Galanos reports.
His nickname was The Hammer, and how appropriate. With a bat in his hand, Hank Aaron was considered by many to be the best who ever played the game. By the time his Major League Baseball career ended in 1976, Aaron had set 13 records, including most games, at-bats, total bases, and RBI. But it is his 715th home run on April 8th, 1974, for which he will be remembered most.
Henry Aaron is the all-time home run leader now.
That was the home run, which broke the record previously held by Yankees legend Babe Ruth. But what should have been the crowning achievement in his major league career was instead filled with hate and anger. On the way to one of the most sacred of baseball's records, Aaron received death threats, thousands of pieces of racist hate mail, and was taunted daily at the ballpark. He said it took a long time to get over the bitterness he felt at the way he was treated.
People resented that very much so. You know, the time was not ready. The country was not ready. So, you know, I had to accept that.
He was born Henry Louis Aaron in Mobile, Alabama, during the height of the Depression, and his passion was baseball. So after quitting high school, Aaron signed with the Indianapolis Clowns of the Negro American League. In 1952, he was signed by the Boston Braves, and 2 years later became a regular in the outfield at the age of 20. It was the beginning of a career that would span 23 years. When Aaron became eligible for the Hall of Fame in 1982, his name was on over 97% of the ballots. Upon his retirement, Aaron moved into the Braves front office as the director of player development and later became senior vice president. Aaron's legacy continues to thrive both on and off the field. His Chasing the Dream Foundation gives grants to help children study the performing arts as well as sports. In 1999, Major League Baseball unveiled the first Hank Aaron Award, given to the best hitters in each league.
God gives people certain talent to do certain things, but he also expects you to go beyond your talent sometime. And if you go out and try to work hard to prevail, that's what life is all about.
And the Padres joined the baseball community in mourning Hank Aaron's loss, calling him a true legend and Hall of Famer on and off of the field, adding his impact will never be forgotten. The Senate has confirmed retired General Lloyd Austin as the country's first Black Secretary of Defense. Austin retired in 2016 as head of U.S. Central Command, which oversees U.S. military operations in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. He was granted a waiver from a law requiring a defense secretary to wait 7 years after active duty service before taking the job. The Senate impeachment trial for Donald Trump over the deadly attack on the Capitol is set to begin the week of February 8th. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announced the schedule this evening. The single charge of incitement of insurrection will be sent to the Senate on Monday. Some of the people who participated in the siege of the Capitol were veterans, but as KPBS military reporter Steve Walsh found, while the VA and veterans groups are aware of extremism in their ranks, there are very few resources out there to pull them back from the brink.
35-year-old Ashley Babbitt was an Air Force veteran from San Diego. She was killed by police as she tried to push deeper into the Capitol on January 6th. Her social media is a mix of QAnon conspiracies and posts falsely claiming that the election was stolen. In one video, the avidly pro-Trump Babbitt segued from immigration to California politicians as she drove.
I am so sick of these politicians in this state. I can't take it anymore. They're all worried about what Trump is doing. How about we worry about what the hell you're doing?
The VA and major veterans groups have condemned the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol, but some groups worry that vets are being unfairly singled out. John Rauter is the spokesman for the American Legion.
The radicalization among certain fringe elements, we don't see it as more of a problem for veterans as America in general.
The American Legion has a program to confront suicide among veterans. They even have Legion posts inside prisons to help rehabilitate veterans. They don't have similar programs to confront extremism directly, even though days before the insurrection, the Union Tribune uncovered a local post commander who boasted being a member of the far-right group the Proud Boys. Veterans groups are not alone. Pete Simi researches violent extremism at Chapman University.
We're way behind the eight ball. I mean, we just have not dealt with this problem in a meaningful way. We don't have a national strategy, and state and local resources aren't there.
Simi says the number of hate groups spiked during the Obama administration.
And nothing happened, in terms of acknowledging that at that point in time, there was a major resurgence after Obama's election in 2008. And there was a number of different factors, not unlike what we see today, that were helping propel that. And we did nothing.
Much of the research into de-radicalizing people who have taken up violent extremism centers around Islamic extremism, Simi says.
And as far as specific intervention programs designed specifically for veterans, it's not there.
Tony McAleer, author of The Cure for Hate, says vets have long been a target of extremist groups.
I can see how, perhaps people get manipulated by their patriotism, and duped into doing things that, when they take a step back and I can't believe I did that.
McAleer, a former neo-Nazi and a Canadian vet, counsels people trying to leave extremist groups. He says some veterans of recent wars come back desensitized to other cultures after being put into situations where they cannot always tell friend from foe.
You have to dehumanize other human beings, but to prepare people for violence, you have to dehumanize the target first.
Nearly a decade ago, McAleer also helped found Life After Hate, which now has a federal grant to help those trying to leave violent extremist groups. Spokesman Dimitrios Kalantzis says the difference between now and a decade ago is that people are speaking more openly about the threat of domestic radical extremism.
People will, hopefully, more people will get the help they need before they become radicalized to violence, before they actually take that last and final step.
In the wake of the siege of the Capitol, and as awareness grows, there is a hope that veterans groups will be more openly involved themselves in de-radicalization programs. After all, these are the groups that veterans often turn to first for help. Steve Walsh, KPBS News.
President Biden's economic orders signed today could provide some quick relief for Americans in need. SDSU's Amira Kopik has more in the Friday Business Report.
A couple of things that are very important for not just consumers or individuals, but even people in San Diego, where we have a disproportionate share of unemployed in hotel, hospitality. Basically, what the president has done is he's extended the eviction moratorium through the end of the year. He's extended the pause on student loans. But the most important thing is he's increased the value of the SNAP program for families at or below the poverty line. And so a lot of these unemployed workers really qualify for this. So as we've seen, a lot of food insecurity issues where there's a lot of families who are in food lines that have never been in food lines. This is going to help families because it's going to mean an extra $100 a month potentially for a family with children. So from the executive order standpoint, these are all very important executive orders that are meaningful to individuals that are severely impacted by the pandemic.
Well, we had the wind. Well, now comes the rain and even some snow. Gray clouds hung over downtown as another storm moves in. The county and CAL FIRE are offering free sandbags to residents who live in the unincorporated areas. Melissa Constanzer has your forecast.
We are watching more rain return into the area yet again, and boy, is it going to change things for us. A cooler, wet weekend as we finish off the weekend with another storm system on its way in on Monday. So get set. This is going to be a pattern here as we head into next Thursday with the wet, unsettled weather sticking in our area. First up, though, we have winter weather advisories through some of the mountains, and this is going to last until Saturday night from this first storm system that comes in. Also, wind advisories in association with some of the stormy weather pushing through. Now, first low, of course, that's trekking its way on in as we speak and then working its way off towards the east. So this is the first storm system we're watching. It's kind of got two bits of energy to it. So we are going to keep coming some of the showers and even the snow showers around through the mountains here heading into tonight. Mount Laguna 31 for your low, Oceanside 46. It is going to be very unsettled. Again, some heavy rainfall at times trying to slide its way on through. I think a lot of it dies down shortly after midnight, so we should catch a bit of a break, but don't worry. There is going to be more to the storm system, and that means still some showers out there for your Saturday morning and continuing throughout Saturday. So tomorrow, there are going to be certainly some clouds, some wet weather, depending on where you are. At least a few showers there towards Mount Laguna and into San Diego. Temperatures of course, cooler because of it. Clouds, showers persist right through tomorrow afternoon, and notice there is going to be snow again through the mountains. We're only 4,000 feet or above. As we continue through time, then Sunday, things finally quiet down for us into Sunday morning. So it will be a quieter finish to the weekend, but don't worry, there's another storm system working in late Sunday, more so Monday for us. For the coast, we are talking about those temperatures, 50s, 60s. Again, another storm system working in Monday, so it's going to be unsettled there. And we keep that chance of rain in for Monday as well. Inland, notice though, there's still the showers to contend with Saturday. Mountains, obviously a bit cooler. We're talking 40s for high temperatures with still the chance for rain or snow, depending on how high up you actually are. And we will have that chance for even a bit of rain in the desert come Monday with cooler temperatures. For KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Melissa Constanzer.
The little yellow fridge is back, this time in City Heights. The City Heights community came together and organized this communal fridge to give people a helping hand during the pandemic. Organizers say they wanted to make sure food was accessible to anyone who needs it.
People losing their jobs, people not having money. I mean, people can barely afford to pay rent. So we just wanted to show people that despite everything going on, the community has your back.
The fridge can be accessed through an alley on Wilson Avenue. Donations of dried and perishable goods are accepted, as well as toiletries. But organizers ask that no raw meat, alcohol, or homemade food is donated to remain compliant with regulations. Back in September, the same community fridge in North Park, a different one, had to be removed after complaints from the property manager and the County of San Diego. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Have a great evening.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.